Hey everyone, Rob from Southgate Media Group here. Before we get started with this podcast, we have a quick message. If this is your first time checking out the show, we love that you found us and we really hope you enjoy it. What we have to say is for the subscribers. If you enjoy our shows, would you please donate to help keep these going? We don't want to have to put traditional ads on these shows, but this does cost money. So we really do rely heavily on donations. To make a donation to the show, please go to our website, www.southgatemediagroup.com. Go to the page for the show, and in the upper right-hand corner is a donate button. It takes you right to PayPal, and you can donate whatever amount you want. Thanks a lot for listening, everybody. And now, on with the show.
My name is Jonathan, and today I'm joined by Nicki. And Nick and Josh cannot join us tonight.
But we're thinking of them and missing them.
Yes. You know, we'll think of them always. Whenever we podcast,
exactly.
We'll think of them.
Hopefully the situation will be rectified in a way that's easy for Nick. So, yeah.
Okay. So before we get going, I thought I'd kind of give my few-minute kind of review of Big Hero 6, which I saw today.
I saw it last Sunday. Oh my god, I loved it.
Think?
You give your review.
I guess it was really, really a lot of fun. You know, what I've heard from people who cried, you know, after they watched it, and, you know, at the beginning it was very tender, and there at the end, you know, I thought maybe they kind of like saved the sequel, but but I don't want to spoil it. But it's just a lot of fun. I kind of got the feeling of like a Avengers sometimes. Everyone's suiting up. I could have sworn I heard like a tune of the Iron Man music whenever he was suiting up Baymax.
I thought I did too. It'd be interesting to find out if they did that on purpose.
It was just a lot of fun. You know, I mean, pretty similar to what you see in the trailers, but it's a lot of cool stuff that they didn't show in the trailers. You know, like the enemy. They didn't really. I don't really never see.
No, they didn't show. I think I saw one image of the Kabuki mask, but it was more in longer trailers for the film, the ones you'd see before movies, rather than the ones that they've released. I don't remember any commercial that showed the man in the Kabuki mask, which I thought was a great villain.
Yeah, so I just kind of came out just really being a fan of this, so I definitely recommend people checking out. You know, a great film. You know, great script, great music, great. You know, really all around. You know, great humor, great voice.
Yeah,
acting.
it was. I thought they cast the voices perfectly, and they didn't feel like they had to get like some huge name actors to sell it, because the story sells itself. And I never read the comic, so I went in completely unaware of what the story was, and I just thought it was charming, it was heartbreaking at times, and I did cry, and I just fell in love with Baymax. I want one for my house. I want a big Baymax for my house, and I really felt for all the characters, including the villain. The animation was great, and there is a portrait in Fred's house that got me teared up. That teared me up. So I won't say anything more than that.
Yes. Yeah. So just make sure if you still haven't seen it and you want to go see it, or go see it again, to stay
absolutely.
After the
Remember, it's a Marvel film.
Yeah, I don't really know anything about the comic.
Yeah, my best friend knows. He knew a little bit about it because he's Mr. Comic Book, so he kind of explained it, kind of how it worked. And apparently it was, the main character in Big Hero 6 in the comic is called Sunfire, but he's owned by X-Men. That's why there wasn't that character wasn't a part of the film.
I really like the American and Japan
San Fran Tokyo. I would love that to happen. I honestly would, because it would just make San Francisco
Yes.
a more amazing place than it already is. I love that city.
I mean, Hiro and his brother both have Japanese
Right.
names. And then I think a few of the other ones.
Yeah, I thought it was
too.
so funny how Honey Lemon was always overpronouncing his name is the more Japanese pronunciation, where everybody else called him Hiro. She'd Hiro.
Oh yes.
And I was like, oh, that's so
Right.
cute. She's really she really wants to make an impact.
Yeah, I think some people might have just thought they were calling him like Hero, like
Right.
Hero, like hey Hero.
But she knew. And that whole scene where Hiro's brother takes him to the school and to see what all these inventions are and these crazy scientists. I really wanted that to be a thing. I half expected Tony Stark to be running this place because
Yeah, it would have been nice to have a little
we don't
cameo
want
or
to give
something.
too much away. We did kind of get a cameo from someone.
So with that, I think we can go ahead and move on
Yes.
to the episode. Episode, we'll say 7 according to our feed, but the actual number is everyone really has their own.
Yeah.
Is it episode 6? Is it episode 7? Is it episode 5? Maybe. Is it episode 8? It's just kind of up in the air. So we're calling it 7.
It's easier for us to remember.
Yes, it's the 7th.
The
thing
7th
that aired.
broadcast of the show.
Yes, the 7th broadcast. Well, technically
on Disney.
Never mind. Oh,
Wow, we're making this way more
Okay.
complicated than it needs to be.
Anyway, so Out of Darkness, and it was a pretty literal. It's a pretty good name for a title. I mean, we just kind of jump right in. I knew this was really exciting because we finally kind of get a Sabine, a real
yes,
Sabine
this is
action.
what I've been waiting for. I wanted to know who she was because we never got her. So
Yes, it was. And we kind of get this, right off the bat. We see that Sabine, is in the dark. She's like, we want you to tell us something, but it's just like, and it's kind of the rebellious teen, and even she's like, you mind me asking? You may ask. It's kind of like that literal thing. You may ask if you want, but I don't have to answer you. It's just, but it's not really something people really say. People often say, you may ask, but it's just...
No, I thought it was really interesting because it kind of showed a little bit of how the crew operates on that ship. And it's like, they really have developed a hierarchy of information and a hierarchy of who you are responsible to. So it really showed that, even more so, that Hera and Kanan were like the parents. And they were determining what information went to what person. Because they were trying to keep them safe, and they didn't want them to be worried. But in the other side of that is, if you don't tell people what's going on, you're going to have even more fear, and you're going to have even more ignorance. And so I think that's a common thing that a lot of parents do, is they don't tell their kids everything that is probably reasonable or valid, but they keep some things back. And I think that Hera and Kanan need to know that these are like young adults, and Sabine especially, and she can handle it. And that's what I think tonight's episode was about, or Monday's episode was about.
Yes. Because I guess, Sabine, she brings up several times, on Mandalore, being in the Imperial Academy. And I think she's definitely someone who could be let in a little more. It's kind of unclear what Zeb knows, because he was there before, because we have Spectre 1 as Kanan, Spectre 2, Hera, Spectre 6, Ezra, Spectre 5, Sabine, Spectre 3, Zeb.
Right.
Did I miss one?
No. I think Chopper. Well, Chopper
okay.
is, yeah.
Chopper.
I did think it was
it's always
funny how he was just over them. Like, they were taking credit for things that he had done, and he just kind of did that sassy thing with his little robot hand. Like, oh.
Yeah, he kind of puts it down like a...
Yeah, he's like
angle.
So huffy. I mean, I've never known it. I mean, I'd seen R2, we see R2 get a little perturbed, but I think Chopper takes it to a whole new level He's just like, I am so over you people. You people suck. I don't want to deal with you anymore.
I mean, I'm older than all you guys' ages put
Exactly.
together. You know, I've been around longer than the Emperor, longer than Count
Right.
Dooku and all that. You know, I'm so old, and I think it's just we still have the times where Chopper is messing with Zeb and Ezra.
Right.
You know, and of course we knew that was coming. You know, whenever it gets done, Chopper, you can what was it? I forget what the
Oh
technical
God,
thing was.
I can't remember what the name of it is, and I just rewatched it. There was a
Yes, they
technical
were.
thing that they were supposed to fix, and they
Yes.
didn't, and they neglected to inform Hera that they had.
Oh, actually, even before that, he's like, okay, as soon as Ezra's done, and it's just like, then he's
Yeah,
gonna let him out, But of course, Chopper, I remember he started
yeah,
kind of laughing, before
uh,
he even did it, and then he turned it on, and then he just loves, and then he just walks away, and I love when Zeb, he uses like his foot. I love the animation of like Zeb
yes,
running, because he looks like he's like
yes.
forward, I love like he was like grabbing Chopper with his foot, and then he had Ezra like in the
He
other
was
hand.
carrying all the load, and he didn't care how he had to carry them. He was like, I'll grab this one by the foot, this one by the arm. Let's just get everybody in. Kind of like how I imagine Chewbacca would be. His crew is in danger. He'd just kind of pick them all up and run with them. He is the strongest member of the crew, physically the strongest member.
Yeah, he can pull someone's arms off.
But I thought it was my favorite funny part was when Kanan was meditating and
Oh
you
yeah.
could hear the arguing going on, and they come in and it's just like, nope, I didn't. How did you see that? No, I heard you in the hallway.
Thing I've heard several times on TV and movies. It's like, you think that maybe they did something mystical or like they used some kind of like technical or mystical power, but nope, I just heard you. Just regular, regular something that we've been doing since caveman time. Just hearing
Right.
someone else
Just
from the
because
other
I'm a
side of the
Jedi
world.
doesn't mean I can't hear. Not everything I pick up is on Jedi radio. It's I heard you because you were loud and
Next,
noisy.
next on Jedi Radio, all the Jedi have perished in a purge.
Oh,
Next up, Emperor Palpatine's
jeez.
music career. Okay, yeah, so, Sabine is kind of like, I need to know more, you know? She said it, kind of at the beginning, I need to know more. But, I mean, Hera definitely has a point, she says a few times, especially when they get down to the planet, is, if they capture her, there is a chance they could squeeze it out. I mean, you could see all the different, just that, the floating, what's the droid called in New Hope?
It's
What's the needle?
I don't think it has a name. It's just like it's the kind of medical orb that they
Yes.
used.
So there's something like that, and they could have a number of things to
Yeah.
just torture. But if anyone else can, I think Sabine has some good points, but Hera has some
I
good
think
points
that
too.
when you were dealing with young adults like Sabine and Ezra, you you do have to monitor how much is good for them to know. And it's a fine line that parents and Hera and that people have to walk. But I thought that she handled it correctly, and her saying she was right. I mean, Sabine could be captured and tortured. The Empire likes to do that. They don't care if they don't get any information out of it. Like like in Empire Strikes Back, they didn't even ask Han any questions. I think Hera was being very protective, but also understood the realities, and that we don't want you to give up what we're doing. We don't want you to, what we're doing to be known by the Empire. So there was two, protecting Sabine and protecting the rebellion.
Right. So we learn that Fulcrum is someone that she has contact with,
Hmm.
and one thing, if there's any Stargate SU1 fans out there, there is, and I was hoping Nick would be on so he could speak for this. he's watched it. But I'm pretty sure Fulcrum is the voice of one of the Tok'ra. And not the human, but like the voice optimized like that. I'm almost positive. I looked in the credits, but I didn't see someone like that. But I'm pretty sure. Like I can distinctly hear something like that. So if anybody can think, I'll try to look up her name sometime or him name, whatever the voice is. But yeah, I'm pretty sure she was this voice was in Stargate. But yeah, so it's just like so we never really get to see this person. We're not quite sure if when they found out that someone else was coming, or if Forum never really planned to be out. We could tell that this Fulcrum is pretty secretive. I mean, he or she could have just left the crates and then just left. You never know.
Right. It could be a trap. It could be setting it up, like to see who's going to come and get them.
Right.
Everything's got people have motive, and you have to be very careful.
Right. So of course, as far as the problem with the ship, we see. After, in a way, it's partially Chopper's fault because he kind of distracted them. So it's like indirectly his fault because he really kind of distracts the two. I mean, they should have gone back, but it's just kind of like, oh yeah, it's ready. But of course, it's not. There's a fuel problem. There's a fuel leak.
Oh yeah, there's that fuel leak we forgot to tell you about and forgot to fix because we were too busy goofing off.
I'm guessing next time, whenever I get someone else to look at my ship, I'll probably check to make sure that everything's all right.
I would double check.
I mean, I guess he's probably not Ezra, but Zeb did it, so I gotta trust Zeb. I've known him for probably a few years or something, and I can trust him. But their circumstances are different now.
Yeah.
Ezra.
Yeah, we have Ezra, kind of taking attention away from what Zeb was doing. Not meaning to distract him from his work, but just the nature of their relationship is that they kind of have this brother-sibling rivalry going on, and they're also big goofballs, especially Zeb.
Yeah, and Chopper loves messing with Ezra.
Oh God, yeah.
Just from that one of the first really instances of him messing with Ezra in Droids in Distress. Just zapping him, and just poking him. I still cannot get that image out of my head of Chopper just poking.
Kind of like when R2 started buzzing the Ewok when the ropes were cut. He's like zapping him.
Oh, yes.
I think a lot of that is like Chopper's like trying to gauge him and see, how much he can take and is kind of playing with him. I think, and then that's also a sign that he might. Like, I know they're droids and they don't have emotions, but it's also a sign that he's accepting him is because he's treating him like he's always been there. So,
of course, the Ghost stays in orbit above the planet, so the Phantom goes down, and, it's a really cool setting, you have all these, like,
it really was.
Debris, rocks and debris, almost like a asteroid or like a moon or something that had like some kind of substantial disaster, and was probably one reason why this base was abandoned. And I thought it was kind of cool that we got a little callback. It was abandoned after the Clone Wars, so I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh, it was like a nice little shout out for the Clone Wars, respecting their history.
Yeah, it would have been interesting for Kanan to be there because he had a little more, a little more about it, I'm guessing.
Probably, but I don't know how much we're going to find out about what he knows.
So, of course, you got to have that moment where Zeb's like, I'm not quite sure. Yeah, we checked it. Hold on. And that's kind of one of those moments, like, did you do the laundry, honey, or did you wash the dishes? And they're like, and the kid is like washing the dishes and stuff. Yeah, of course they're clean. Brush. So it's that kind of thing where, there might be a small problem.
Yeah, the dishes are done. Dishes are done. Right. He's trying to save his own butt. That's what it is. And then blame it on the other guy. Well, he said he was going to do it.
And we kind of get these. I'm just trying to think of what kind of creatures these remind me of.
Yeah, they were like bugs and also like cats. I mean, they kind of look like beetles.
Mixed with the womp rat?
Maybe, or one of those, from Attack of the Clones. They had some of those beasts that they fought in the arena. Maybe something crossed one of those, because those teeth were nasty, and the glowing eyes. They were cool looking, and yet they were kind of horrifying at the same time. So I don't know what they're a cross of, but yeah, I definitely got an insect and like tiger or mountain lion vibe from them.
It's definitely, and of course, we kind of understand, the reason from this episode, what it's called. Okay, I think it's the Nexus. Nexu. That's what it's called.
That's the animal's
Yeah,
called?
that's the one that was going after Padme.
Yeah.
That one.
That one, yeah. That was kind of like a cross between that and a beetle, because its hind end parts look like a beetle with wings in a case. But yeah, it was just really really creepy.
Yeah.
Especially when the lights went out. But Sabine, she holds her own, and I like that about her. She's not depending on somebody to save her. She's going to save herself, and she's going to save Hera too. And I think that will go a long way toward moving up in the esteem of Hera and Kanan, and in regards to how much that they will tell her from now on.
Right. So we kind of do get this. We do kind of, as far as, the first glimpse into what these are, we do see this sign that, this is not a sentient being, as, I thought it was a pretty cool clue that, the anti-gravities weren't used. They were dragged.
Right.
That was a pretty cool clue.
Yeah, it's like something is strong enough to do this, and we don't want to mess with it. And, and Sabine knew exactly what to do.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out, what the names of these monsters are, but I think they might actually be made up for this show.
They might be. I've never seen them in any other Star Wars, either any of the books or any of the series or the films. So I think it might be a brand new creature.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, because it's called monsters that could only come out in the dark. So yeah, I'm pretty sure they're made up. So yeah, I definitely think it's a cool design, like we've said a lot. And I know this has been, in other kind of movies and stuff, creatures that just can't stand the light, the sunlight. I go back to, I recently watched Gremlins for the first time, and I kind of got, because they don't like the sunlight.
No, and don't get them wet. Don't let them eat everything. Oh my, that is such a huge part of my childhood.
It's a great time. I watched that on Halloween.
That's a good time to watch it. It freaks me out. I've only seen it twice, but because it freaks me out so much still. But yeah, it's definitely kind of one of those, kind of like more of the Spike than the Gizmo. So. Right.
So we do learn about a substance, Rhydonia, and we see that Sabine, of course, uses another example of her shows her expertise at explosions and such.
Right.
She loves her explosions.
And it's going to come in very handy.
And we do these kind of... I'm trying to think what these kind of remind me of, those canisters.
Like old metal wine casks to me. So, and obviously really well protected.
Looks like something that might be like in Half-Life. That's what I thought of when I saw those
Oh,
things.
yeah.
I thought of Half-Life. So whatever this kind of material is used for, apparently there's a lot of them on there, and she just starts setting them up, and I thought I like the line where it's just like, we're the bait,
Yeah, exactly.
So what did you think of this whole clip?
As a whole, really, I've been waiting for Sabine to get some playtime, so I was really glad because I got to know her better, and I really liked what was revealed about her, how strong she is, and how loyal she is to the crew and to her, really the family of the Ghost. So, and I liked having Hera be the one to kind of bring that out of her, because it really shows that they're not just the girls on the ship, that they're an important and effective part of the running of the ship, that if you take that away, that nothing else is going to work. So they're like the cogs that really maneuver the ship, and without them, it's a mess. So I thought it was really fun. I liked all the new stuff. I liked the shout out to the Clone Wars, of course. And as always, I love Chopper.
The next thing that happens, I like the line that's like, "You never doubted your plan," and Sabine's like, "No, well, I sure did." I like that. I like Sabine's, reaction. Hey, you don't trust me, but it was a pretty crazy plan.
Yeah, it shows that they don't know everything and that they're going to make mistakes, which makes us human, or it really was. And it could have gone, sideways so many times, but you have two really strong characters who came and worked together to get through it.
So they must have just kind of been out of view, but because when they came up, there was only like maybe 10.
Yeah, there was a lot of those things. So it makes me wonder why, where, who is responsible for all those.
Yeah, because they had a lot of waves. It was like wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4. I don't know, maybe wave 5.
Yeah, but it seemed like there were a lot more.
Yeah, so apparently, these creatures, there was one little moment where she's like, these creatures tore up that shuttle, so we should not go inside the Phantom. I mean, that's pretty scary.
That those creatures could do that, the shuttle, and they have that kind of strength, that's my first sign that we need to get out of here right now.
Yeah, when they got up on the top, I thought of the cornucopia from Hunger Games.
Oh, I haven't seen those.
Oh, you haven't? Oh, okay.
No. No.
They're really good. And you had these claws where they were trying to scrape at the kids, just trying to kill them. But yeah, so it was definitely a cool thing where it's just like, I always thought it's kind of annoying and something they kind of do. It's like, Chopper says, Ezra says at the beginning, let's try not dying, we're gonna die, and it's just kind of like, yeah, we gotta get that,
Yeah, I like that they came in at the end and the girls, so to speak, didn't feel like they needed to be rescued, but they needed help and they weren't afraid to ask for it. But when Ezra and with his slingshot, he almost got himself eaten. And then rescued by Sabine. I really think she's the kind of smart alecky kind of Han Solo, if we're going to compare the two crews. She's more the Han Solo of the crew.
Yeah, it's like don't look too much into it.
Yeah.
She just completely like what did we call it? Just completely slams like every single like thing he says. Just also like, if you need some inspiration, I'll look elsewhere,
Right.
She has these great combat.
Yeah, smart aleck of the crew, and I think that's a place that the person need to have.
Adding a lot of fun, everyone. I love all the characters, how everyone has their own little thing.
Yeah, they're very distinct from each other, and there's not a whole lot of overlap in character types. So I think we have a really great collection of characters that have come together to form this team.
And I could have sworn during one of the fights, either against the Beast or after the Ghost Land, I could have sworn we heard some kind of music from the OT.
I heard some when we see the ghost hovering, and it was before they went inside the ghost, like before the camera takes us inside. I definitely heard some of the more like Han Solo and the Princess kind of theme. And more along that line, not the whole big Darth Vader's theme or the Emperor's theme, but it was more that subtle kind of soft music. But I definitely heard that too. So
that was pretty cool.
It was.
I love all these little. We've talked about it before, and there was one little thing we missed. I think it was in the last episode or maybe the one before. There was a Raiders of the Lost Ark little tune. So any of these kind are really cool. Any kind of John Williams at all is cool.
Right. And, esque. That they're really themes that he wrote.
Wait, what was that?
I wanted him to use themes that are similar to themes.
Right,
because it draws you more in. It draws you more into it.
Right, it's not just taking the exact same OT songs and just plugging them in. It's kind of like taking them and just kind of changing them up a bit, taking a different take on them, so it's pretty cool.
Right. It's reminding yet setting itself apart.
Yeah, because you don't want to just put the Han Solo Princess Leia theme just verbatim during like a fight or something.
No.
It just wouldn't work.
And it wouldn't go over well with those of us who are like rabid fans. Be like, you're just stealing now. We want this to be its own thing. We want this to be part of continuity and not just redoing the same things over and over again.
Right. I mean, with Clone Wars, we didn't have really any. We had hardly any, OT music, but
right.
It was all really new. But here, now, a lot of changes going on with Rebels, and I think this is definitely one of them.
Yeah, and even with Clone Wars music, it still reminded me, at least, of Star Wars music and reminded Williams, but it wasn't too much. And so they did a good job of making their score their own, and I think Rebels is doing a great job of that too.
Yeah, I love the line. I love Zeb's lines where it's, the line I like was like, "No hitchhikers." That was when one of the beasts was kind of halfway through the door.
Yes, he's like, "Nope, not getting in. You're not coming with us."
Kind of like when he was trying to push a stormtrooper through a closing closing hatch.
Exactly.
I'm looking for that third time's the charm.
Yeah.
I'm looking for that third time that it happens. Pushing or dragging someone through.
Right.
It kind of reminded me a little bit of. I'm trying to think of I remember like in the episode 1 like novelization or something, like Darth Maul actually got on the ramp.
Right, he did.
So that's what I thought about a little bit. I'm trying to think of another movie or TV show where like similar beasts got on the ramp. I'm blanking. Having a blank right now. I'm sure there.
I can't think of any, but I get, we have a vast kind of collection of things we'd have to go through in our brains to try to.
Well, somebody knows, post it on the Facebook group, because I can't think of one. And of course it kind of ends where, Sabine, of course, she doesn't, completely say, okay, yeah, I'll trust you. Kind of leave it at that. She's still kind of has that, still wanting to kind of resist. So, she says, you know what, I'll try.
Right. And, she's a rebel. I mean, not to make too big of a wink and a nod to it, but she really is. She's even in this group of rebels, she's a rebel. I think she's going to become more interesting as time goes on, but definitely liked getting more of a feel for her.
Yeah, and really, but previously all the action she's been in, she's, had the Mando helmet on.
Right, she's got the full Beskar, and Mandoa. It's like the only Mandoa I know is how to say armor. But she's talking about being from Mandalore. I think that she's definitely paying a lot of tribute to where she comes from, and I love the helmet and the armor. I like seeing women in it in the series. I have a lot of friends who are Mandalorians, but I like seeing that it's becoming canon.
Right. It's definitely a different take on the suit because, previously, they've been fully padded, but, she has like a little bit of skin, I think, like right in the middle.
I think so, just a little bit.
Just a little bit, so she has the forearm and then she has like the chest plate and, the part that kind of goes down to the shoulder.
Which of the Mandalorian it's not a full body armor like Stormtroopers.
Right.
But it's modeled after. No, the Stormtroopers are modeled after them.
Right. So, I mean, that's about it. I mean, of course, we did have the, don't worry, we'll get it fixed. Why would we be worried? I just love these little quick moments. Everyone just kind of has everyone, is quick on their feet, trying to think of a little reply.
Yeah. Everybody, you've got a crew of smart Alex here, and I think that those moments are going to come up more and more frequently.
Yeah, it's kind of like Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
He's always have like some kind of little, He
always has to have.
Good job. Came here to rescue you. Good job.
Yeah, good. The original sass.
Yeah, that's still one of my favorite, like, Obi-Wan Smart Hog things. It's just... So it's kind of taking me back to that.
Yeah.
But really, we have everyone just kind of... and of course, really, Ezra just can't get a break with these. He just never has any kind of comeback, really.
No, he's not quite quick enough with the comebacks yet, but I think hanging around Zeb, he'll get there.
He did say, like, save a bolt for me.
Yeah.
When they're chasing Chopper.
And
so...
Yeah, Chopper. Oh, God, I love that kid.
So I think it's kind of something that Zeb and Ezra can come together to. They both have a strong dislike for Chopper, and they just chase him around.
He's like the annoying little to them.
So instead of, like, picking at each other,
Yeah.
all the time, at least sometimes they have someone else they can put their energy out. Someone else they can kick around like a trash can.
Exactly.
Literally.
Yeah, literally. He is kind of looking... He's looking kind of, yeah, he's rough. He's rough.
Trashy. Looking a little trashy.
Very cute. He looks a little,
rusty
and worn out, but he's still got attitude.
A little gray.
He's a little gray at the temples. Maybe he's like the older, instead of the little brother, he's the older grandpa who lives with them.
Right, the one that's he's shrunken down.
Yeah. Yelling about kids today.
Yeah, and like you said, I still love that little arm where it just kind of goes, whatever. Kind of like when someone kind of fans, whatever. Forget about it.
Yeah. I can't deal with you people anymore. Humans, you suck.
And I just love how he just, like, zaps someone, kind of zaps Zeb, and even Zeb is like, oh my god, it's crazy.
I can't believe I'm stuck on this ship with these people and this droid that they got from some Jawas on a $1 days.
Yeah, $1 days. Black Friday. Black Friday in the junk section.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
They might just...
Too.
I wouldn't be surprised if they said, just get rid of this guy. We cannot turn him off. just take him off our hands. Give you one credit.
We will pay you to take this droid off of our hands.
Yeah.
I hope we get to see him with R2 again. I thought that was really fun.
And I was surprised that even, like, C-3PO is like, you should take his example, even though Chopper is a lot more obnoxious.
Right.
A lot more uncivilized than R2. It's just every opportunity C-3PO can, like, have some kind of way to criticize or critique or whatever R2.
Right.
He takes it, even if it's just a droid that's, a lot older. And,
He just to, him aware of the fact R2 is not perfect, unlike C-3PO, who is perfect.
Yes.
So he's always reminding him of that.
So I think that's about it. So, all in all, what did you think of the episode?
I thought it was a good episode. It was really fun. Nice balance and action. So we got to learn a lot more about our characters. And we got to see the ladies kick a little bug or Nexu tail. Whatever that thing was.
Definitely really cool ones. The way they go out of the sun is kind of like, the Gremlins, but also like a vampire.
Right.
And I thought it was really cool how, you have all these little pieces of debris and kind of like going against the sun, and then you have that one that just like blocks out.
Right.
And it must have been a huge, it must have been a pretty big radius that they couldn't run away. Or a lot of cool ideas, Sabine is very resourceful, to say the least.
Yes, she is.
And I think it shows a lot more about her, when she doesn't have the helmet on, because it kind of shows, more of her expressions, and shows a lot more of her character. Just, it makes a lot of difference just by leaving the helmet off. I think there would be some other times where, hopefully Hera sometimes will kind of let up and kind of, maybe give Sabine a little more information. I guess we'll just kind of see how it goes, and we'll, hopefully, we'll see the bigger picture of everything that's kind of going on, including people like this Fulcrum.
Yeah, there's still so much we don't know, so it bodes well for the future that there's all these things that we're looking for.
Yeah, so a lot of secrets. This episode was, it wasn't as big as, say, like the Inquisitor episode, It's very more self-contained, but it's still a lot of character development. You know, and we learn more about this. You know, the different secrets, all the secrets going out, and we definitely think Hera, knows the most out of everyone. I think all in all, I think that's a very good episode. I look forward to the next one we discuss next week. So, how can they get in contact with us, Miss Nicki?
Oh, well, you can reach us on Twitter at Radio Free Indoor and also on Facebook, facebook.com/Radio Free Indoor. You can find Jonathan on Twitter at JEBell49er and me at iHeartColson.
What's going on with S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Oh my gosh. S.H.I.E.L.D. is getting crazy.
Yes, it is.
I mean, those podcasts that we do, they can go on if we don't stop it because there's so much to talk about lately.
The Helicarrier podcast.
Yeah, the Helicarrier podcast, yeah. If you're Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fans and you want a really good Helicarrier podcast or Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. podcast, we're actually followed by several members of the cast, so.
Yep. Come on over to Facebook and leave a review. We haven't got out a new Radio Free Indoor, like a news episode because I've just been so busy.
Well,
School,
and we last podcast about the title of episode.
Right, of course. But yeah, so that's why I figured I didn't want to wait to get a new Radio Free Indoor because I have my other podcast, Radio Ramen, and anime podcast reviewing Sword Art Online 2. So it's just a lot of those things combined, and with school, hopefully we'll try to get some more stuff in December. And I think Rebels is going to take some kind of hiatus in December.
Yeah, I think we'll get more as we get closer to Star Wars Celebration 7, and I think we'll probably be getting some previews of The Force Awakens coming up in the next couple months.
But yeah, I mean, whenever there's a teaser, if we don't have time to do a Radio Free Indoor, we'll definitely talk about it on Rebels Cast.
Exactly.
Just like we did for The Force Awakens.
Still makes
and it's finally, has it awakened yet? Is it still
I think it's still napping. I think it woke up briefly and then went right back to sleep.
So this has been Rebels Cast, episode 7, Out of Darkness. I'm Jonathan.
I'm Nicki.
And thanks for listening.
Bye, guys.